A lot of instructors consider banning laptops and cell phones with their students in the classroom, but I'm against that practice. I'd like to show you why. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Erica from Ever Educating, and in today's new blog post, I wrote about how you can kind of deal with problematic student behavior in the classroom, and that blog post is linked below. But in today's video, I want to talk a bit more about one element of that blog post, and that's on whether or not to let students use cell phones and laptops in the classroom. I know that a lot of instructors get really frustrated when students are distracted by either their laptop or their cell phone, but I do think there's some really great benefits of using this tech in the classroom. So even if your classroom is in a computer lab and it's not a one-to-one scenario where every student has a laptop or a tablet, I do think letting those who want to bring them to class can be really helpful for certain types of activities. All right, so let's talk about laptops first. Now let's say you have a group of 30 students. It's most likely that if you let your students bring in laptops or even request them to do so, you'll get at least 5 or 6 in the class who will bring a laptop with them. In that case, you can do small group activities of either 5 groups or 6 groups, and each group could have 1 laptop at least per group. In that way, rather than constantly collecting papers from your group and giving it back, you can just have each of them submit either their report or their answers to their questions or their little analysis via your LMS site rather than via paper. You don't have to worry about losing it. You can access it wherever you have internet. It just makes life a lot easier, both for the student and for the instructor. On the other hand, you could also do things with Google Docs all the time, where you can have a shared document opened up with anybody who has a laptop. Right? In that case, even if it's just 1 per group, or maybe even 2 per group, it's a way for collaborative writing to happen pretty easily. It's not that easy when you have no laptops in the class. Even if you're not using laptops in class for certain activities, I still think it's beneficial to allow students who want to have it on their screen, on their laptop, rather than on a projector. Can be really beneficial to students. So I tend to project a lot on the screen in my classroom, but I have those who prefer to see their PowerPoint lecture, for example, on their own desk rather than only in the front of the class. So if you're worried about them searching the web at inopportune times, have them close their laptops during those periods. But other than that, you can always walk around the room and make sure they're being on task. So I do think there are benefits of having laptops in the classroom, both for activities you assign and just to help students who need more of that attention to detail in their digital resources. And then the second tool that I know a lot of teachers are frustrated with is cell phone usage in the classroom. And yes, there's definitely those students who are checking their text messages or going on Instagram, whatever the case may be, at their desk, right? At times you don't want them to be. But I do think banning them or saying you have to turn into this box in the front of the class or it has to be in your bag, it can't be in your desk. Sure, you can be that stringent, but you might want to consider actual beneficial usage of cell phones in the class. So Kahoot, which is a website that I adore using for surveys and for questionnaires, for quizzes, for in-class activities, it's really great to use with cell phones because as long as you have a smartphone connected to the Wi-Fi on campus, every single student can take part in these activities just from their cell phone, right? And if they don't have one, they can always obviously share with a partner. But I use Kahoot a lot, and without cell phones, it wouldn't really work as well. So you might want to check out that website if you don't know it yet. I linked it below in the description box. Even if you're not using it for a certain activity, I do think having cell phones can still be beneficial because they might be looking up information for more context on something that you said, or let's say they ask you a question and you don't know the answer. Someone could be looking it up, like who is the author of this book? I don't know. Why don't you look it up? So you can actually have them kind of mimic using the cell phone in beneficial ways to look up information rather than to be, just online and just not paying attention. So again, with the laptops the same way, you can say, hey, put it away in your bag. I don't want you being distracted right now. That's not a problem. But I do think the more stringent kind of policies I've seen of collecting cell phones, well, then you're kind of shortchanging yourself of how you can use the cell phones in the classroom for various activities or for more contextual information. So this was just a quick video to talk about these two, technology uses that I know often instructors say are, well, what's problematic? I'm going to have a strong policy in my syllabus against laptop and cell phone use. Sure, you can of course do that, but I did want you to consider, wait, is there some benefits also to this technology? And I think there's a lot actually that's possible. I just gave you a really couple of quick examples, but I'm sure you can, come up with your own as well if you give it some thought. Okay? If you want to see the rest of my post about other types of behavior that you might have problems with and how to kind of deal with that in the classroom, remember that my post is linked below. I also have a few other resources that I think are connected well enough in case you want to check those out too. If you found this video helpful, I would appreciate you clicking the like button below. And if you want to make sure not to miss my future teaching tips and resources, I suggest subscribing to this channel. I'll see you next week.